There are things I used to buy thinking they were a decent deal, but the world has fundamentally shifted since the chaos of 2020. Between the relentless grind of inflation and the sneaky rise of shrinkflation, the way I look at a dollar in 2026 has changed entirely. I am sitting here in my chair wondering why anyone still participates in these obvious wealth drains. Today I want to break down 10 things that are simply no longer worth your hard-earned capital. If there is a way to bypass the nonsense, I will tell you, but mostly I just want you to see the trap for what it is. We are starting with the most obvious offender, which is food delivery apps. DoorDash and Uber Eats are essentially attacks on the lazy and the mathematically illiterate. Back in 2014 or 2016, when these apps were the new kids on the block, they felt like a miracle of modern convenience. People were amazed that they could get high-quality food from across the city delivered for a few extra bucks. During that growth phase, these companies were burning through venture capital like a house on fire just to subsidize your delivery fees. They wanted you addicted to the interface, and it worked. But here in 2026, using a delivery app is one of the single most catastrophic financial decisions you can make on a daily basis. You are not just paying for the food, you are paying a delivery fee, a service fee, a packaging fee, various taxes, and then the inevitable tip for the driver. What really gets me is the shadow markup on the menus. If you actually bother to check the restaurant website, you will find the app prices are hiked by 20 or 30%. Data from April 2026 shows that the average DoorDash order is now 30 to 40% more expensive than eating at the counter. The only way to get a price that is even remotely sane is to pay for a $9.99 monthly subscription like Dash Pass. You literally have to pay a subscription fee just for the privilege of not getting completely fleeced. I looked at a Chipotle order recently where a burrito was $15.35 on the app, which is already a markup. By the time I hit the checkout, the total was $22.16, and that was with my subscription covering the delivery fee. If you do not have the subscription, you are looking at nearly $30 for a single burrito. That is more than double the cost of the food. Just get in your car and go get it yourself, or better yet, learn to cook. The second massive wealth killer is the new car market and the predatory loans attached to it. By early 2026, the average price of a new car in the United States has hit a staggering $50,000. The average monthly payment is now hovering around $750. Just a decade ago, that payment was $490 on a standard 5-year loan with a 4% interest rate. Now, thanks to the double blow of high interest rates and inflated sticker prices, owning a new car has become a luxury that most people cannot actually afford. To cope with this, Americans are stretching their loans out to 6, 7, or even 8 years. They are financing a rapidly depreciating asset for longer than they will likely even own the vehicle. Let us do the math that your dealer hopes you ignore. If you buy a $50,000 car over 72 months at 7% interest, you are flushing $11,376 down the drain in interest alone. By the time you finally own that car outright, it will probably be worth $25,000 at best. For the first few years, you are effectively underwater, owing more to the bank than the hunk of metal is worth. The opportunity cost here is the real tragedy. If you took that $750 a month and dumped it into a low-cost SP 500 index fund, you would be looking at over $1.1 million after 30 years of boring. Lazy discipline, buy a 3-year-old Toyota with cash and stop pretending you are a high roller. The third thing on my list is the annual iPhone upgrade cycle. Apple is the undisputed king of psychological warfare and profit margins. They have conditioned the masses to expect a shiny new toy every September, regardless of whether the old one actually works. In the early days, the leaps in technology were massive, but look at the iPhone 14 through the iPhone 16. The differences are so microscopic you would need a lab kit to find them, unless you are jumping from an ancient iPhone 11 to an iPhone 17. The upgrade is essentially a vanity project. These devices now cost well over $1,000. So holding onto your phone for 4 years is one of the easiest ways to keep $3,000 in your pocket over a decade. I only move when there is a feature that actually changes my workflow, which almost never happens. Stop falling for the marketing trap and just keep your current glass slab until it dies. Fourth on the list is a personal favorite for my fellow lazy investors, and that is actively managed mutual funds. These are funds where a guy in a fancy suit tries to pick winners to beat the market. For this service, they charge you a management fee or an expense ratio that usually lands between 0.75 and 1.5% every single year. Look at Cathie Wood and her ARK Innovation ETF. It has a 0.75% fee and has been absolutely slaughtered by the market over the last 5 years, dropping 40% while the SP 500 climbed 65%. In 2026, there is simply no excuse for this data. From SP Global shows that over a 20-year period, nearly 90% of these professional managers fail to beat the index. You are paying them a premium to lose your money. Meanwhile, you could buy VO or VTI for an expense ratio of 0.03%. That is $3 for every $10,000 invested. The compounding effect of these fees is brutal. If you have $500,000 growing at 8% over 30 years, a 0.03% fee leaves you with $5 million. A 1% fee leaves you with $3.8 million. You literally handed $1.2 million to a fund manager for nothing. Check your 401k right now, and if your fees are over 0.25%, you are being robbed in broad daylight. The fifth thing to stop buying is extended warranties. Whether you are at Costco or Best Buy, they will try to sell you a 3-year protection plan on your television or laptop. It is a scam for a few reasons. First, if you have a decent credit card like a Chase Sapphire or an Amex Gold, they usually offer an extra year of warranty for free as a card benefit. You are paying Best Buy for something you already own. Second, these warranties are riddled with exclusions that make it nearly impossible to get a claim approved. They are high-margin items designed to prey on your fear of loss. At the point of sale, the companies hope you lose the receipt or forget the warranty exists. I just self-insure. If it breaks, I buy a new one with the money I saved by not buying warranties for the last 10 years. Sixth is the massive health and wellness industrial complex. What used to be about basic self-care has turned into a $7 trillion industry that harvests your insecurities. I am talking about $25 smoothies, $300 yoga pants, and miracle supplements that promise to fix your life. There is no secret to being healthy. It is boring. Drink water, walk every day, sleep 8 hours, and eat whole foods. The wellness industry is selling shortcuts to people who do not want to do the work. If you stick to the boring basics, you will feel better and keep your money. Seventh is the concept of the starter home in 2026. This used to be the cornerstone of the American dream, but the math has turned toxic in 2016. The cost of owning versus renting was comparable, but with mortgage rates at 6.5 to 7% and home prices at all-time highs, the calculation has flipped. In almost every major metro area, renting is now significantly cheaper than buying. In places like the Bay Area, a starter home might cost $8,500 a month in total carrying costs, while you could rent the same house for $5,000. That $3,500 difference could be working for you in the market, instead of being burned on mortgage interest and property taxes. Unless you plan to stay for 20 years, the starter home is a financial anchor. Eighth is status spending. People love to buy things just to show other people they have money. Whether it is designer clothes, Coachella VIP passes, or bottle service at a club, it is all a waste of capital. The difference between being on track for a wealthy retirement and being broke is often just a few $100s a month before you swipe your card. Ask yourself if you would still want the item if no one else could ever see it. If the answer is no, you are just buying an expensive mask for your own insecurity. Ninth is fast food. I grew up on McDonald's and an In-N-Out, but the price gap between fast food and casual dining has vanished. A quarter-pounder meal is pushing $14. Now, for that price, I can go to a local Mexican spot or a sit-down restaurant and get actual food that was not frozen in a factory. The quality gap remains huge while the price gap is gone. Even pizza has become a joke, with some places charging $40 for a single pie at this point. The only sanctuary left is the Costco food court with their $1.50 hot dog. Everything else is a ripoff. Finally, the 10th thing is big arena concerts. 10 years ago, a $50 ticket was normal. Now, between Ticketmaster fees, dynamic pricing, and the post-pandemic surge in demand, you are looking at $300 or $400 for a night out. Social media has normalized these astronomical prices, but the value is just not there. I would much rather spend $20 to see a rising artist in a small 300-person venue than sit in the nosebleeds of a stadium. The fees alone on these tickets are a slap in the face, so that is my list for 2026. I am sure I missed some, and I am sure some of you are mad about the house or the car, but the math does not care about your feelings. Tell me in the comments what you have cut from your budget lately. I am going back to my coffee. Thanks for watching, and I will see you when I feel like making another video. Stay lazy and stay rich.